Coming up on the Together for Good podcast, I'm talking with Pastor Carrie Bayless and her oldest daughter, Emmy, and we're talking about why people would ever still be involved in church. What's it like as a pastor's kid? All sorts of good things. Can't wait. What a random conversation. Here we go. Welcome to the Together for Good podcast, a podcast created by Bethany Lutheran Church in Cherry Hills Village, Colorado, and hosted by me, Pastor Nate Preisinger. On Together for Good, our goal is to provide practical, engaging content that supports you without expectations. Whether you're feeling disconnected from traditional religion or simply exploring what faith means in your life, we're here to walk alongside you. No matter where you are on your journey of faith, we're glad you're here. Welcome to Together for Good. Carrie and Emmy, you were just driving by Bethany today and had no idea that you were going to record a podcast with me, did you?
No idea.
I'm very persuasive when I want to be. Thank you for taking the time to sit down and talk with me like this. This is awesome. And I'm just always so curious and trying to talk with as many people as I can about why in the world they're still involved in church. And Emmy, I'm going to put you on the spot right from the start. Growing up as a pastor's kid, let's just start there. I don't know exactly the timing of things. Do you always remember your mom being your pastor?
Yeah, because I was 2 years old when you were ordained.
Is that right? Yeah. Okay.
So for as long as I've grown up, she's always been like the pastor at my church. She's never been like head pastor. There's always been different ones.
Nobody wants to put me in charge.
No.
I mean,
You're the head of the household, though.
Right.
Listen, you run everything else. You've got the rest of it down.
But what was that like growing up? I'm a pastor's kid too. Disclosure, Dad was a pastor growing up. Like, it's a weird existence.
Definitely like different expectations from all my other church friends. They can run around and misbehave and people are like, oh, but me and my sister, once we're bad, like it immediately gets back to her and then we get yelled at.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, like our Wednesday nights, we used to be so bad. We were so naughty.
okay, they're not that naughty, I promise. I do remember both of the girls screeching into our like fellowship space on Sunday morning and one of our elder members like just yelling and being like, that's enough. The whole place went silent.
Whoa.
And I was like,
I don't remember this.
no, you don't, which is good because you still go to church. But I can think of lots of other
No
kids
kidding.
where if somebody who was older, an elder in the church, scolded them in front of everybody, they would be like, I'm not doing this again. I'm not coming back for this.
No kidding.
There are generational expectations and differences, whether you're a pastor's kid or not, from different generations that are hard.
Do you find with your friends at school who don't go to your church or who maybe don't go to church at all, do they put extra pressure on you because they know your mom's a pastor?
No, they don't really care. Most of my friends at school aren't religious, so I'm just another like kid to them. I'm just another 17-year-old in their class. At church with my friends, it's a lot different because my mom's a pastor. So they're like, oh, you can do this and you can do that and you can get us into this and that. And I'm like, actually, no, I can't. I have much higher and different expectations, especially from the older people. I feel like since our church is more like older people than younger people, they're always looking at you. They're like, don't misbehave.
Yeah.
Be good. You better not be bad or we'll tell your mom. And I'm like, don't tell my mom.
Carrie, do you think, though, that you put extra pressure on your girls because you know of, like, what are other people going to think? You don't strike me as that type of person.
No, I try not to put any extra pressure on them. They've got enough, right? Being pastors' kids, I get that. But if they're in a mood, and they're two teenage girls, so they're in a mood. Moods happen way often. If they're in a mood, I'll be like, why don't you go hang out in my office? There's a nice couch in there. Stop in the staff kitchen and grab yourself a soda. It helps to avoid the trouble if I just take them out of the scenario altogether.
Do you know when she asked you to go to her office that
oh yeah,
this is punishment?
I don't even look at it as a punishment. Honestly, I hate talking to people at church.
Stop, you do that.
I do too. I hate talking to old people. They scare me so bad. It's scary.
Well, they're super interested in you.
Yeah, so invested. I'm like, hello. So I had cancer as a kid, and all these people know that. And the amount of people I get, like, that come up to me and are like, I remember you from when you had cancer. Okay.
Right.
I don't.
And you're just like, that is not what I wanted to talk about
was like,
before my coffee kicked
I was
in.
like, what? I was like, oh, okay. I feel like the only thing you ever really made us do was like, we had to dress nicer than all the other kids at church. That's the only thing. Like,
because mom's wearing a robe.
It's a real hardship making them look nice to go to church on Sunday morning.
No, because my friends will show up in the pajama pants, and me and Callie are over here in the dress, and I'm like, what is happening?
Okay, even I think pajama pants are not
Oh, no,
for
I don't
church.
think it's appropriate for church, but I'm still like, excuse you?
I told my wife I would never, because I leave early. And so it's just like, she's got to get the kids ready and together. And I'm like, you know what? If you get in there, that's great. And so my favorite is I get texts from her routinely 15 minutes before the service starts. And it'll just say, we're coming in hot today. And then I see like my son in his gym shorts and his like bedhead. Like he is not trying at all. He's only 11, so.
When the kids were little and their dad had to bring them into church in the morning, because I would leave at 6 a.m.
Exactly.
6:30.
He always
Exactly.
got him ready.
Oh, he got you ready once we sorted out that leggings and dresses were the way to go. Because any pair of black leggings and any dress are totally appropriate for church, whereas anything else might be less appropriate.
Oh my
You
gosh.
just got to give him a formula.
That's right. You just have to give them a formula.
I know Callie got to 9 or 10 and wanted to wear all her like short little dresses and everything. My dad was like, this is not happening.
So one of the things I'm always talking to people about is like why we hear so much about like why people aren't going to church anymore. And so we can start there. Do you think that this type of the expectations that a church community puts on people is part of what keeps folks away? Or is that just a unique experience to clergy and pastors' kids?
I think part of that is unique to pastors' kids. I don't know that people think the expectations placed on them in coming there prevents them from coming. I think maybe it's the expectations and how they live into the rest of the week once they've been there a little bit, right? If I go, then I have to carry this with me into the week, and maybe that's not how I want to live my life during the week. I'm church on Sundays. I'm free for all.
Can't we just compartmentalize this?
I think we do a lot of compartmentalizing in our lives with lots of different pieces of it, and church might be another one of those.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I had a really great conversation the other day with this guy. I was at a Labor Day party, and so you're just talking to the neighbors, and he runs a gym. And he was telling me, it's funny because everyone goes to the gym and they want to know what is the most efficient way for me to get in shape.
Right.
And a thing clicked to me. I was like, that's how we approach church too, isn't it?
If I go on Sunday mornings, I spend 1 hour there. I can check the church box off.
And now I'm a good person.
And now I am a good person. When somebody asks me where you go to church, I can name a name. I can say a place, and that's where I go.
I have proof.
I have proof that this is where I go. And that, right, as a pastor, is an interesting piece because you see that bounce back when there's trauma in a family, when there's a death in a family, when they need help reaching out for one thing or another. You can have a family who hasn't been regularly engaged in church for months or even years, and they call you up and say, I've been a member there for 6 years or 7 years, and we'd like to come and do this, and you're scrambling like, are they? I haven't seen them
in the system.
Right, they're not in the system. So I wonder what keeps people away. It's all the typical things. I think it's time. We have kids, we have sports, and there's cycles of that too, different stages and ages in life where people come and go and come back.
But Emmy, you're this strange outlier in all of this because you are a senior in high school and you're like doing church stuff all the time. And not because mom said so, because you want to.
Yeah.
So I first met Emmy this year at the Rocky Mountain Synod Assembly, which is like the absolute pinnacle of boredom. And not where I was expecting to meet like a perfectly delightful 17-year-old. What are you doing here? And that was only, and then you went to churchwide assembly and you did a couple of different church mission trips this summer. You are all in. What's that about?
Part of it, if I'm being totally honest, is it looks really good for college, and wanting to go to a Lutheran college, like doing all the Lutheran stuff and being really involved is like, it looks really good. But it's just, I think it's so important that you hear someone who's younger than you and who has like a different voice and a different opinion, who sees things differently. Because from all the other people on Synod counsel, like I see things differently than them because I'm 17.
Yeah.
Compared to all of them who are like older or like I don't know.
Much older
like
than 17.
mom's age.
Yeah.
Way old.
Don't get me
Way
started
old.
on Pastor Gary's age because he's on Synod Council too.
That's
I know.
right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And then mission trips, if I'm being honest, I do those to hang out with my friends mostly.
Yeah.
They all usually go, and Ecuador's great. It was so much fun to get to see like everybody and to go with a different church. I thought was really interesting. Like I've done 4 mission trips with my church. They're always kind of the same. We always got the drama and the same few
You know
people.
how it's all going to play out.
Yeah.
Name names.
No, we always know what's going to happen. I don't know. I feel like this year was a curveball. We didn't have our like
The
drama.
normal drama on your mission trip.
We didn't have them. They weren't there because they graduated.
What is it that makes you want to do the church things? Like I know it's the college admissions, but what are the other pieces of it that draw you to this group more so than maybe a group outside of church, different friend groups?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think everybody at my church and all my friends and even all the older people, they're all very welcoming, and it just makes it like an easy environment, and they all know me pretty well, which also makes it an easier environment to get involved. For Ecuador, I didn't know anybody was going except for Kevo and Addison. And
Yeah.
my sister was initially supposed to go, but she
You subbed
had
in.
some,
You subbed in.
she had some stuff going on, so she decided not to go.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I'll go. Like, it sounds fun. I didn't know anybody, though. I hadn't been at any of the pre-stuff. Like, I didn't know at all who was going. I knew Deacon Deborah and then Kevo and Addison, and that was it. But it just sounded like such an interesting experience to me. And I don't know, church just interests me. I just find it interesting.
What made it easier for you to go to Ecuador at the last minute? What was how did it feel like a safe space? Because you are not like the most outgoing joiner.
I think something that made it feel like a safe space was hearing those intergenerational. It's really hard to just immediately fit into groups of kids that are your own age.
I had to teach confirmation last night. You're telling me. Oh my gosh.
It's so hard to fit into a group that's your age.
Yeah.
So hearing those intergenerational
Interesting. Yeah.
was really, it helped me to know. I was like, I'm not going to be with people who are going to be like judging me for anything because they don't care. I'm 17. They're weird if they're judging a 17-year-old.
And I love what I'm hearing as a through thread in all that you're saying, Emmy. You said that one of the things you like about going to your church and continually showing up there is that you feel known. People know who you are. And that probably feels safe in a lot of ways, which is like, hey, this is me. I can be myself. And people like that about me. And that's what I'm hearing too in this like intergenerational thread. Like, if it's going to be a bunch of adults, like they're not going to judge me the way a group of 13-year-olds judged me last night at confirmation class.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that being known piece, I think, is an essential part about what church can have to offer when it's done well.
When it's done well, like I think of that safe space of a church that you can come and people will accept you as you are. Now, sometimes the getting there and the welcome and the like reeling them in is a little bit more difficult because we think that we are infinitely more welcoming than we are. To wave hi at somebody or shake a hand and pass by is pretty superficial. And we, as the church, like to think that's super welcoming. Like, I said hi to somebody today. I stepped outside of my comfort zone and I said hi. I was getting a cup of coffee.
So true.
And that is not the same welcome that people need. You want to be asked about yourself. You don't want to have to come up with the questions. You want the people who are there to say, here's why I'm here. Here's what I love about Bethany, or here's what I love about First Lutheran. We're glad you're here. We want you to come back. And it's in those places, I think, where you make connections to people. Because without a connection on the first visit, the second visit, the third visit, you're not coming for a fourth visit. Like, it won't be back. And for teenagers, it's a little bit the same. You have to create that safe space, that welcome space for them where they know that they can be who they are and be accepted for that and be challenged for that. I think kids aren't challenged very often outside anymore to be their best selves, maybe, and that may sound cliche or whatever.
I appreciate that.
But I think that the church challenges them to step up and be just a little bit better version of themselves all the time. And I think they like that and they appreciate that because they want to find that in somebody else for themselves too.
Exactly. And do you feel like, to that point, that your church friends are a little different than your school friends?
Definitely. There's aspects to my church friends and school friends that are similar, but the relationship I have with my church friends is different from the relationship I have with my school friends because we know each other in different ways. With my friends from church, we're all connected through our relationship with Christ and through going to church. And with my school friends, they're all just random kids that I sat with one day.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I think it's the way that, to your point, Carrie, that church can challenge us, hopefully, or hold a mirror up to ourselves and be like, hey, God loves you anyway, and could you do better?
God loves you, but Jesus challenges you.
Yeah.
That's where I land on a lot of things. God loves you always. God comes down to you, but Jesus is going to challenge you. Jesus is going to teach you. Jesus is going to say, this is the ministry that we do. And Jesus is the one who's going to help me to be better in that space with people. What the church has to offer, I think that other places don't, is a community that is all centered on something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
Instead of us trying to make something bigger than ourselves. When I think of different communities outside of church, whether it's doing sports activities or doing a mom's group or being at the gym, you're all trying to achieve a common goal that is lifting up something that maybe is a little idolatrous in one way or another. But at church, we come together to lift up everything that is the love of Jesus for the world around us. And that's a different thing to lift up, right? We don't gather around love very often. We don't gather around somebody who's around Jesus, around that person who's trying to make us better as a group, as a collective.
No, we never do.
No.
And it's always around, I feel like most groups are formed, whether it's in high school or elsewhere in society, around a common enemy. It's almost always, it's like, at least we're not them.
At least we're not them.
Yeah. There's probably like a little more to it, but you think about the cliques of high school, and there's like the athletes and the drama kids, like there's a uniting piece to it.
Right.
But it's also that then you learn to love all of that uniting piece because at least we're not as judgmental as the athletes are, as shallow as, or as dramatic as the drama kids are, whatever it is. It feels like that always comes up.
That's the place that we live in. There's a constant state of comparison. At least I'm not that bad, or at least I'm not doing that, or at least I have more than this person. And it's that comparison that, I don't know where that comes from. If that's just a human drive, our innate humanness to be competitive or to want to one-up people, or if it's something that we have learned along the way. But church isn't about that. There's nothing that we're going to one-up each other on. I loved harder than you this week. Great! That's what I'm hoping for. Please be better than I was last week.
And in the same sense, we both know, right? Like church competition is its own stupid thing.
Oh my gosh.
That keeps happening.
Over and over again.
Like, what are we doing here?
We're all on the same team.
Yeah.
We're all Team Jesus.
And it's so funny. Sorry, this is the boring church stuff that you had to sit through all summer long, but this is fun for us.
People can't help it.
And what I think is just hilarious is how I think the way, at least in the Lutheran church, most Lutheran churches grow because another Lutheran church nearby is going through a hard time.
Is not growing.
We're just shuffling the deck.
There's a lot of deck shuffling, for sure.
And there's not a lot of new people actually coming through our doors. We're just from that church down the street, but we're mad at them. And you guys seem like you're okay right now. I was like, just wait a minute.
Oh yeah, the tides will change and it will change. There's also the church right now is our church, right? First Lutheran in the Springs we're going through lots of new members. We just welcomed new members a week or so ago, 31.
That's fantastic.
Right, which is fantastic. Yeah. And lots of all generations and families and single people. And a lot of times when they come, they're just looking for a place to land.
Yeah.
Right? They may have come from a church where they were hurt before. They may have come from the military and they just got transferred here. They may have just retired and are coming back to the Springs, but they're all looking for a place that feels like home.
Yeah.
It's really, I always find it interesting. That's one of the places or one of the resounding things we hear is, I just want to find a place where I feel at home.
Yeah.
And I think, what does that mean for a church? How do we feel like home to people? Because, right, home can look like a lot of different things for a lot of different people.
Does church feel like home to you, quite literally? Because I bet you spent a lot of time there.
Yeah, definitely. I'm there a lot. We try to So we have church on Wednesdays and Sundays, so every Wednesday and every Sunday. But I feel like I've just spent a lot of time there. We got one other family the way, so I think spend more time there than I do. There.
That's the musician's family.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
I know, like, every time I'm there, they're there too.
Yeah.
Like, you must know how to light or something.
Nope, everybody's there all the time. That's what we do. Church kids.
But it's also very literally home because it's the only church.
I've never really been to another church, or at least on a Sunday. I was here I was at Bethany for VBS. I helped out.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've been for like one Sunday, one or two. But for the most part, I've always been at First Lutheran. Because even when we go to like our mission trips and stuff, we're always back on Sunday to go to church here.
But it's nice if you miss a Sunday or two, when you come back, there's hey, we missed you last week. Yeah. Like, we recognized that you were gone. And I think that is...
Is it a missed you or is it a judgment? Is this back to the like... What?
Where were you? Why weren't you here?
Don't need to name names.
Depends on who's asking. No, it depends if mom was there too or not. If mom wasn't there, then they were on vacation. But if mom was there and the kids weren't there, it's, haven't seen the kids in a week or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're sleeping teenagers, right?
Oh, yeah. My friends, I have some who just don't show up during the summer. And they're back during the school year for Sunday school, because most of my friends, we all shepherd, and we all help out with the younger kids. And we're like, so we're learning all summer.
I want you both to talk about why you think people still come to church. Not why people still come, why you are still here and choosing to be involved.
For me, I think it feels like home to me. I'm so accepted there by everybody because they all know me. I've grown up there. They all know pretty much everything about me. Like,
Feels like a lot, yeah.
I don't have any secrets from these people. They know it all. Because I'll have people come up to me and be like, oh, I know you. You do? From Facebook. It's all the time.
Mom posts a lot.
And I was like, no, all people come up to me and be like, oh, how was your trip here? How was that? And I was like, how do you know that even happened?
Do you know what I wonder, Eddie, for you, if one of the other things about being at church is the purpose, that there's purpose with it. So Emmy has been shepherding in Sunday school
since I was in 8th grade.
For 4 or 5 years now. And she's really good with all of the 6, 7-year-olds. 6, 7. That was my good reference.
That was like my one joke that landed with the confirmation kids last night.
No, I don't envy you. I do not envy you. So as she does this shepherding, I just wait every Sunday for the ride home to hear the stories about all of these little boys. We've got a whole troop of little boys who are just mischief, like all of them together that run around.
They're my favorite. They're so funny.
Yeah, it's so fun.
It's great. They're so much fun. I've got a different group of little boys for stories this year.
But when you come to church, if you weren't shepherding or if you weren't engaging with people, you wouldn't feel like you maybe had as much purpose.
Yeah.
And I feel like you have talked around it, but haven't actually said, I like to go to church because there's purpose for me there. And I see, maybe it's because I'm the mom and I see it differently. I see that other people see purpose in you. Just like we see gifts in other people are able to name them. It's much easier for me to name gifts in somebody else than to maybe name gifts.
And something like purpose is so ethereal, it's hard to nail down for yourself until someone else points it out for you. But would you say that's why you're still involved in church?
Church has been, cradle to grave Lutheran. One would assume I'm probably closer to grave than cradle now at this point. But I think for me, it's about those relationships. It's about getting to know people and their stories and where Jesus fits into those. And then for me, figuring out what's my purpose. Why has my life intersected with this person's in a way that leads us to what Jesus intends for us and how God loves us. I've been doing this 15 years now, and there's always surprises along the way and things that you don't expect, and you're always learning new things about people. And I think I have shifted in my ministry now to last third of life ministry with people. And it is so life-giving to be there with them and to hear their full stories, to hear the fullness and the breadth of what church has meant for them and what a relationship with Jesus has meant for them. and what I think people are trying to leave behind as a legacy in their faith.
Yeah.
And we don't talk about a legacy in our faith until people are gone a lot of times. And I'm just in the midst of walking with an older gentleman in our congregation who has limited time left. And we were talking about legacy and what that looks like, and leaving behind the purpose that he felt and all that he had gained from his experience of faith, and how he looked at his career through his lens of faith, his family through his lens of faith, and his purpose in his vocation and his job through a lens of faith. And I always think, gosh, how can we put that in a bottle and give it to people? To say, this is a life well lived is one that doesn't start when you're at the end of it. It starts at the beginning of it. And you have to capture it along the way and kind of figure out, what is my purpose? Why am I here?
And to be for the church, like the way that the church accompanies people through all of that. There are specific rituals and pieces along the way, and to share this life journey. I think about coming home, like we keep saying.
Yeah.
That's what it provides, is this.
Well, and I had said earlier that there are, those people who come back to the church after you haven't seen in forever, and you're like, well, I don't see them in our database or on our roster. And for me, I don't care. I don't need you to be on a roster to minister to you. Like, I don't need you to have given. I don't need you to have taken communion in the last year. I need you to know that you are loved, that you are here, and that I'm going to walk with you in whatever you're in, because that's what my purpose is, right? Is to bring the love of God to you in whatever way you need it at whatever moment in time that you need it. It's so that you do feel like this is home. You may not have been here for 6, 7, 8 years, but this is still home for you. And that's what I want people to take about the church. Come and find home again.
So well said. So well said. Emmy, Carrie, thank you so much for being a part of this random, last second, out of nowhere conversation, and for sharing so much about your experience with the church and the way that you find home in these spaces. I think it's just really neat. Emmy in particular, to have a high schooler like yourself who's so involved and finds such meaning in this place. Carrie, thank you for sharing your wisdom and your thoughts on all this. And you, dear listener, thank you for listening. Stay in peace, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Together for Good podcast. If you'd like more resources for your walk of faith, please visit our website, bethany-denver.org, or download our mobile app by searching Bethany Connect in your phone's app store.